Hello everyone, I'm Kyle. Last December I joined Golem network as a Python developer in the SDK team, and in this part we will talk about Dapp-manager. Because Dappmanager is designed to run a single application stack and it focuses only on running it, our abilities to interact with application alone are limited. We cannot filter any logs or send some commands to application. We have only single log output with everything. Also, we need to keep alive our command line constantly to have Dappmanager do his job. And what about running multiple applications? Well, we would need to start another command line and manage it manually. Because of these limitations, Dappmanager comes in. Dappmanager gives us more flexible interactions with Dappmanager. We could even say that Dappmanager hides Dappmanager from us by giving option to run few actions on demand. We can run new application at any time, execute commands on our application while it's running, and also view logs if we are interested in them. Not only users get easy ability to interact with decentralized applications, but also other tools and scripts. We can invoke some action and carry on with work. Now let's see what moving parts are under the hood and how they are connected to each other. Let's start on the left with us, requester machine. While invoking an action on Dappmanager, we are starting a short-lived process capable of connecting long-running Dappmanager processes or spawning them. Every Dappmanager process has its own place and it's separate from other Dappmanager processes. Each Dappmanager process handles one application stack, as I mentioned before. Finally, all processes that communicate with Golem network talk with Yagna, run in the requester mode. After Dappmanager started his application stack, with use of Golem VPN, we can connect to application stack services running on virtual runtimes on the providers. Now let's jump from slides to command line, where I will show you Dappmanager in action. After we have installed Dappmanager on our system, we can call it in command line, and doing so without any arguments will give us a list of possible actions. I have already prepared those files. Let's see what configuration file contains. The first string is environment variable available in my environment. Also, I have Yagna running on the background as a requester mode. The second important bit is our budget that we want to give our application. The second file will be application description itself. Here we want to run single payload with VM runtime, which will run the image of the Nginx. We should see after the HTTP connection to our running Nginx on our provider text hello from inside Golem. The last bit, because we are not describing specific port on our machine, that port will be selected automatically by Dappmanager and Dappmanager under the hood. Let's finally run our application stack with Dappmanager start, giving the configuration file that I showed you before and also the application description. We should receive the application ID in return. After some time which is required to run our application on Golem network, we can check its output log. Let's call Dappmanager read our ID and std_out. And here we could see that application was prepared, started to finding providers, and also after some time the application is running and it's available on port 8080. Let's go to the web browser and check the port 8080, and as we can see, hello from inside the Golem. As we have one application stack running, let's head back to the command line and run another instance of our application stack. This time I prepared new application stack. Let's see what web application or web app is about. As we can see, this time we have two payloads, both are VMs. First will be a database and second will be HTTP server. Here we have descriptions about how each service should be run. We are interested in the connectivity between those two services. Let's start Dapp-manager again. Dapp-manager start with config. And this time we will use web application description. We should receive application ID. Now let's check how our application will be run. Dappmanager read as the out, but this time we will follow the logs, which means that we want to constantly check about the new logs without exiting the Dappmanager. It could take some time here. Finally, our application stack is running and we received second port, which is different from our first application stack. And let's go to the web browser and check its outputs. Here we can see that port 8080 is still responding with hello world from the Golem. Now let's change the port for our second application, and here we can use our demo second application, and output that we see here is displayed via database that our HTTP server in our second application stack is working. Going back to the shell, we can stop following the log. We can list the application stacks supported by Dappmanager, and also we can just stop selected application stacks. It will take time because stop is working in graceful manner. Let's stop our second application stack. Let's check the web browser in a second. Okay, all applications should stop responding. Okay, second application is not working. The first application is not working too. So that's it. And that's about Dappmanager in action. Let's sum up the topic. Distributed applications on Golem network are now possible thanks to Dapp-runner and manageable thanks to Dappmanager. This is our first iteration on the topic, so we'd love to hear feedback from you guys. Also, after this presentation, we will be live answering your questions, so see you soon.